minutes. Please call the roll.
Lucas.
Here.
Kimmons.
Here.
McEwen.
Here.
Graff.
Here.
Skubic.
Here.
Thank you. Everyone should have tonight's agenda in front of you. Are there any changes or corrections to the agenda for this evening? Hearing none, do we have a motion for the approval of tonight's agenda?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The minutes stand approved as written. See the minutes from the last council meeting. Are there any corrections to last council meeting's minutes? No corrections or changes? Do we have a motion for the approval of the minutes?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The minutes have been approved. Thank you. Recognition of visitors, Mr. Bogowski.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, tonight we are joined by Kaylee Paffrath, President of MAEDC, who will be addressing the council during public hearing. And we are also joined by Ms. Barb Riley, who is here with the League of Women Voters. So welcome.
Thank you, guys, and welcome to tonight's council meeting. I'd just like to let anybody else know, if you'd like to speak to the council, please come up to the clerk, grab a green card, fill out your name and an address, and we will have 4 minutes where you can address the council towards the end of the meeting. We'll let you know when that time is when it comes. Okay, getting started under communication requests and informational items, a request from Greg Carroll with Harrier Track Club to hold a 5K on July 4th, 2025.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this request was at a work session last meeting, and it is a annual event on the 4th of July to raise money for the Harrier Track Club. Staff has reviewed this and would recommend approval of the request.
Very good. Any questions from council regarding the request? Hearing none, do we have a motion for the approval of the request?
So moved.
Got a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The request has been approved. Next on our agenda, we have a public hearing to consider the proposed Project Big Mac 2 development plan and tax abatement. So at this time, I declare the public hearing open. If you'd like to speak in favor or against the proposed actions, please come forward and state your name and address, and you'll have 4 minutes to address the council. Ms. Paffrath is here to also answer any questions and provide any information as well.
Absolutely. Should I allow any questions first? All right, I will go ahead and read what I have prepared. I believe this is on. All right. MacRack Inc., located at 100 Sparks Road in Moberly, is moving forward with phase 2 of its redevelopment project. This expansion builds upon the success of the original project, which brought over $800,000 in equipment investment and created at least 35 new jobs. Phase 2 represents a continued commitment to Moberly, with plans to invest at least $1 million, including $700,000 in new machinery, $100,000 in additional personal property, and around $200,000 in building improvements. The project will generate at least 27 new full-time equivalent jobs, with 12 created immediately upon completion, in addition to the existing 44 employees. To support this growth, the city proposes extending tax incentives through Chapter 353, offering a 50% real property tax abatement for 6 years beginning in 2028. This follows the current 10-year 100% real property tax abatement period that began in 2018. Throughout both phases, all taxing districts will continue receiving personal property taxes on equipment and furnishings, ensuring continued revenue generation alongside economic development. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Is there anyone here that would like to speak for or against? Going once, going twice. Okay. We would declare the public hearing closed. Thank you very much, Ms. Kaylee, for providing that information. Moving on to number 3, a request from Stewart Custom Homes to build infill housing on a city lot at 812 West Reed Street.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we received a request from Stewart Custom Homes to build on 812 West Reed Street. They have successfully developed several homes on infill lots in the city. So if this is acceptable to all of you, it does appear later in the agenda to move forward with this, with this proposal.
Do we have a motion to accept this proposal?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The request has been accepted. Moving on to ordinances and resolutions. Number 5, an ordinance.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we have an ordinance approving an amendment to the development plan for the existing redevelopment area pursuant to Chapter 353 of the revised statutes of Missouri, granting an extension to a grant of limited real property tax abatement and approving a First Amendment to the original development agreement. Ask that this be read twice for consideration.
Thank you. We have a motion for the reading of the ordinance. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? First reading, please.
An ordinance approving an amendment to the development plan for an existing redevelopment area pursuant to Chapter 353 of the revised statutes of Missouri, granting an extension to a grant of limited real property tax abatement and approving a First Amendment to the original development agreement.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Any further discussion? Hearing none. Second reading, please.
An ordinance approving an amendment to the development plan for an existing redevelopment area pursuant to Chapter 353 of the revised statutes of Missouri, granting an extension to a grant of limited real property tax abatement and approving a First Amendment to the original development agreement.
Thank you. Any additional discussion? We have a motion for the approval of the ordinance.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. Roll call, please.
Lucas?
Yes.
Kimmons?
Yes.
McEwen?
Yes.
Graff?
Yes.
Skubic?
Yes.
Thank you. The ordinance has been approved. Number 6, an ordinance.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have an ordinance repealing ordinance number 9790 and terminating cooperative agreements with J. Madison Development for infill development, and I ask that be read twice for consideration.
Thank you. We have a motion for the reading of the ordinance. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor for the reading of the ordinance signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? First reading, please.
An ordinance repealing ordinance number 9790 and terminating cooperative agreements with J. Madison Development for infill development.
Thank you. Any questions from council regarding this ordinance? Hearing none. Second reading, please.
An ordinance repealing ordinance number 9790 and terminating cooperative agreements with J. Madison Development for infill development.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments? Hearing none. Do we have a motion for the approval of the ordinance?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. Roll call, please.
Lucas?
Yes.
Kimmons?
Yes.
McEwen?
Yes.
Graff?
Yes.
Skubic?
Yes.
Thank you. The ordinance has been approved. Number 7, an ordinance.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have an ordinance authorizing a cooperative agreement for infill development with Stewart Custom Homes LLC, Missouri Limited Liability Company. I ask it be read twice for consideration of passage.
We have a motion for the reading of the ordinance. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor for the reading of the ordinance signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? First reading, please.
An ordinance authorizing a cooperative agreement for infill development with Stewart Custom Homes LLC, a Missouri limited liability company.
Any further discussion or questions from council? Okay, second reading, please.
An ordinance authorizing a cooperative agreement for infill development with Stewart Custom Homes LLC, a Missouri limited liability company.
Thank you. Last chance. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, do we have a motion for the approval of the ordinance?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. Roll call, please.
Lucas?
Yes.
Kimmons?
Yes.
McEwen?
Yes.
Graff?
Yes.
Skubic?
Yes.
Thank you. The ordinance has been adopted. Number 8, a resolution.
Mr. Mayor, I have a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into task order number 21 with Bartlett and West Incorporated, supplementing a master agreement dated March 3rd of 2020 for engineering services to provide options for City of Moberly entry signage at selected highway interchanges, and has to be read once for consideration.
Thank you. We have a motion for the reading of the resolution. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? First and only reading, please.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into task order number 21 with Bartlett and West Incorporated, supplementing a master agreement dated March 3rd, 2020 for engineering services to provide options for City of Moberly entry signage at selected highway interchanges.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from council? I did have one. In the description, it listed out some colors, gold, silver, and something else. Is that the only colors that we're going after for this? It was kind of misleading, and I didn't really understand it.
I don't think we were putting anything specific on them at this point. It's just kind of gonna give you some sizes, like some examples of like, if these are the signs and more other cities, you know, what the cost would be, and then kind of get some kind of a range of where you all want to be as a council with some recommended locations. And then once you have that, then try to focus in on colors, schemes, layouts, and that, once we kind of have some kind of a ballpark concept of.
Yeah, I guess it said the design options, for example, would be bronze, gold, and silver of other Missouri communities for city council to review. Okay, yeah, I understand now. Sorry. Okay, do we have a motion for the approval of the resolution?
So moved.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution has been approved. Number 10, a resolution.
Number 9.
Number 9, a resolution.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have a resolution authorizing and ratifying the purchase of real estate from the school district of the city of Moberly. Asked to be read once for consideration.
Thank you. We have a motion for the reading of the resolution. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? First and only reading, please.
A resolution authorizing and ratifying the purchase of real estate from the school district of the city of Moberly.
Thank you. Any additional questions or discussion from council? Hearing none, do we have a motion for the approval of the resolution?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution has been approved. Number 10, a resolution.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an amendment to the architect's agreement with WSKF Inc. And I ask that it be read once for consideration.
Thank you. We have a motion for the reading of the resolution. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? First and only reading, please.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an amendment to the architect's agreement with WSKF Incorporated.
Thank you. Any additional questions or discussion from council? Hearing none, do we have a motion for the approval of the resolution?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution has been approved. Number 11, a resolution.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have a resolution authorizing a revocable license for use of public right-of-way by Norfolk Southern Railway Company. I ask that it be read once for consideration of passage.
Thank you. We have a motion for the reading of the resolution. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor for the reading of the resolution signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? First and only reading, please.
A resolution authorizing a revocable license for use of public right-of-way by Norfolk Southern Railway Company.
Any additional questions or discussion from council? Hearing none, do we have a motion for the approval of the resolution?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution has been approved. Number 12, a resolution.
Mayor, I have a resolution appropriating money out of the treasury of the city of Moberly, Missouri to pay expenses due between March 13th, 2025 and April 3rd of 2025 in the amount of $774,079. That's to be read once for consideration.
Thank you. We have a motion for the reading of the resolution. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? First and only reading, please.
A resolution appropriating money out of the treasury of the city of Moberly, Missouri to pay expenses due between March 13, 2025 and April 3, 2025 in the amount of $774,079.
Thank you. And I hereby certify that there's sufficient money standing to the credit of the city of Moberly, Missouri, unappropriated in the funds identified in this resolution to meet the requirements of this resolution. City Treasurer Allison Boyd. Any further questions or comments from council? Hearing none, do we have a motion for the approval of the resolution?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution has been approved. That should do it for ordinances and resolutions. So moving down to additional items to come before council. Number 13, proposals from the Tourism Advisory Commission for the following sponsorships to the Chamber of Commerce: Junk Junction, $1,500, the Christmas Festival event, $1,000, and Moberly Rotary Railroad Days, $1,000 and $2,000.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, these items were brought to work session at the last meeting. The Junk Junction is a continuation of past sponsorships of that event, along with the Christmas Festival. The Rotary Club, this is a longtime sponsorship of the Tourism Commission. We did get confirmation on the $2,000 for the picnic tables, and that is a cooperative project with the Parks Department and our assets for the Park Department to use anywhere else. So the Rotary Club simply just wanted to make sure they had quality tables for railroad days, but the Parks Department is free to deploy them for other events.
Good, good. Glad to hear that. Any questions or comments from council? Okay, hearing none. Need a motion to approve the number 13, the request in number 13, I guess.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All of the proposals in number 13 have been approved. Number 14, consideration of approval for a location change of a liquor license for That's Fire Barbecue and an approval of a liquor license for Casa Jalisco. Is it Jalisco or Jalisco?
Jalisco.
Jalisco. Anybody got anything they need to add to that?
I would just say that our city code in section 6-49 states that liquor licenses are not transferable between locations, which required a new application by Mr. Sims. We do recommend approval of that. And Alicia Castillo has applied for a new liquor license for Casa Jalisco, and that's located at 104 West Whiteman Street. The application has been reviewed and approved by all relevant parties, and it's now presented to the council for final approval. Ms. Castillo has obtained both her state and Randolph County liquor license, and we recommend approval of both licenses in accordance with our City of Moberly Code of Ordinances.
Thank you. Any questions regarding the applications from anyone on council? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the 2 liquor licenses being requested.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The liquor licenses have been approved. Thank you. Okay, at this time, we'll open it up for public comment. If there's anyone that would like to address the council, now would be the time to come forward. You'll have 4 minutes. Please state your name and address, and you'll have 4 minutes to do so.
Mr. Mayor, my name is Aaron Hess. I live at 1213 County Road 2268 here in Moberly, Missouri. I approached your bench here last month concerning an assault that took place on 100 East Lee Street by Kenneth Earl Hackey.
Mhm.
I'm wondering what's going on with it.
Sir, I think that we've provided, what needs to happen next as far as if you're more than welcome to go get an attorney and do what you need to do. But I don't think there's anything else that we can do on our end from a legal perspective.
So you're telling me to go back to Randolph County and deal with it, correct?
Well, I'm not advising you at all. All I'm saying is that, your next step would be to get your own counsel to represent you.
Because the information he sent me said he was not notified by the city police department on a felony assault call that's broke my clavicle. This man wasn't notified, Mr. Thompson? You weren't notified?
You want me to read the letter I sent you into the record?
Oh, I'm saying this man here, Mr. Calvert, he's saying they notified you. What's going on?
I doubt that he told you that.
Well, I'm saying it's been notified because
I've
I've
talked to
called
him
it there
about it.
numerous times.
I've talked to him about it after you would come to see
I've
me.
called that man numerous times.
Okay, sir. At this point, I don't feel like that there's anything that anymore that we can do for you. I'm sorry that there was an incident, and I'm sorry that it happened. I would, my advice would be to, get your own counsel, and you would have to figure it out that way, because I don't know from a legal perspective anything else that we could do at this point. Okay?
Okay. I think that.
Thank you. Anybody else choose to address the council at this time? Okay. Hearing none, looks like that is all that we have for the actual council meeting. So I would actually consider a motion to adjourn to a work session, followed by a closed session to discuss the status of real estate matters.
So moved.
We have a motion for the adjournment. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. Roll call, please.
Lucas,
Yes.
Kimmons,
Yes.
McEwen,
Yes.
Graff,
Yes.
Skubic.
Yes.
Right. We are adjourned from council meeting. We will move right into work session. Okay. Quite a few items on our work session for this evening, so we'll try to move through those as quick as possible. Number one, a resolution authorizing a fund transfer from the general fund to the health trust fund to maintain a minimum balance of $150,000 and further authority.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I'll transfer this to Director Boyd here. But this is something we have wrote in the past about a authority that we would like to have internally as a staff to manage cash flow concerns with the Health Trust Fund. And I'll have Allison walk you through that.
Yes, so this would basically give me as the director more ability to manage the cash flow. This wouldn't directly impact the actual funding of the health trust, but if the balance due to timing or high claims did drop below $150,000, we could go ahead and make a transfer from the general fund based on what we are expecting to get back from reinsurance. So it's really just a cash flow. It's not actually sending money from the general fund that's not going to be in the general fund,
Sure.
if that makes sense.
Would I did speak to Mr. Bogowski a little bit about this, but would we be notified when that did take place? Is that something that would happen, or is that something that would just happen internally and we wouldn't be notified?
I would envision including that into the monthly finance report. If you wish to be informed outside of that, I think we're happy to accommodate that, but that's how I would envision it.
I think the monthly report would probably be okay, just so we're aware that, hey, we're getting a little bit low. Obviously, the numbers are all there, but it would just be helpful to know. Anybody have any questions or any other comments or disagreements with that? Anybody have any objection to moving that forward to the next council meeting? Okay, we'll move that one forward. Thank you, Allison. Number two, a resolution accepting a permanent roadway easement for the Route E Sidewalk Improvement Project.
It's just that this is most of the easements along EE are temporary construction easements, so this is a permanent easement along there. We're accepting for part of that.
Okay. I don't think that requires a whole lot of discussion. Any comment from council? Any objection to moving that one forward? Okay. We'll move that one forward to the next council meeting as well. Number three, a resolution partially repealing resolution number R1384 regarding housing and utility assistance for commissioned police officers and civilian communications officers.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this is partial repeal of a resolution that authorized a housing allowance for police officers and communications officers. The program, we think, worked fairly well when it started, but in the long run has challenged us in recruitment because it has added factors to hiring and makes our starting wage look artificially low. So the wage looks like $20, but if you do the math altogether, it's higher, but then we're competing against people whose starting wage is $23. And so it just looks comparatively unattractive, and we feel has hurt us on a recruiting perspective. So what this would do is repeal that and just equivalent wage, add that number into it, so nobody loses anything. But we think on an apples to apples perspective helps us look a lot more competitive in the recruitment space.
Okay, I think that makes sense. Any questions from anybody? No? Any objection to moving that one forward? Okay, we will move that one forward to the next council meeting. Number four, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a lease extension agreement between the city of Moberly and Larry Sander.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we lease the industrial park property to Mr. Sander on a cash rent basis. Obviously, we put in the new road out there and have disturbed a fair amount of the property. We believed in our best interest to just do a 1-year extension, as we have to refigure all of the acreages out there. and we will put this out to bid on a multi-year relationship this summer. But Larry is willing to honor his price, and we will work with the ASCS office to establish the new acreages out there with the road.
Okay. Any questions? Any objections to moving that one forward? Okay. Number 5, an ordinance approving a memorandum of understanding establishing a joint special weapons and tactics unit between the City of Moberly Police Department and the Sheriff of Randolph County, Missouri.
Good
Chief?
evening. So, excuse me. With this agreement, as we discussed before, this is a process that we've had in place for a while now. We felt it'd be best for the citizens of Moberly and Randolph County to have a joint team due to manpower and cost sharing expenses.
Okay. And this is, you said this is the same one that we've had. This is
Yes.
just a renewal of that.
Yes, this
Okay.
will be a new one.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Calvert? Nope. Okay, hearing none, we'll move that one to the next council meeting. Thank you, sir. Number 6, consideration of a request for street closure at the 4th Street between Rollins and Reed for a wedding on June 28th at the 4th Street Theater.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this is a kind of a unique request. This is a request from Christy Kurtz to close 4th Street between Rollins and Reed for about 6 hours, it looks like, on June 28th for the wedding of her daughter. They are not requesting to put any kind of tents in the street. They're not looking for lifting of public consumption or anything like that. It simply appears to be a safety and flow issue for them. They did speak with the library. The library had no objections to that. So although this isn't a request that I can recall really receiving before specifically in this way, staff sees no real objection to it.
Very good. Any questions from council? Okay, we will move this one forward to the next council meeting. And number 7, resolution permitting the Moberly Rotary Club to locate and operate a carnival in the downtown Moberly from June 11th through the 14th, 2025, and the closure of downtown streets to hang banners on certain overpasses and the operation of a beer garden during the 19th annual Railroad Days.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this resolution obviously accomplishes several different things. Permission to use the facilities for railroad days, hanging of the banners, and the beer garden. The beer garden, as I understand it, has changed a little bit from last year, so they wrote about how that would look a little different. But again, staff reviewed and police department reviewed and had no particular issue with the way they've presented or requested to do this.
Okay. All right, 19th annual. It's hard to believe it's gone on that long. Wow. Any other questions for Mr. Bogowski regarding Railroad Days? Any objections to moving this one forward? Okay, we will move this one forward to the next meeting. Number 8, receipt of bids for the 2025 Reclamite and Restorative Seal CRF project.
So the prices came in on there about where we expected. I mean, they're a few cents higher than last year. They've stayed very consistent, so it's on both products. So we don't use a lot of restorative seal, but we have a cooperative agreement, so you can see that in a lot of other counties you work off our bids as well. So I don't anticipate we'll use a lot of CRF, if any, this year, but the Reclamite will be on all of our new asphalt streets and all the ones that were done 5 years ago.
Okay. Okay, any questions for Mr. Sanders regarding number 8? Any objection to moving this one forward? Okay, we will move this one forward to the next council meeting. Number 9, consideration of a mutual lease termination agreement with Excel Air 8 LLC for the hangar located at 3555 East Outer Road.
So again, it's kind of the rotary, rotational hangars out there. Mr. Chupp is buying, they're terminating their lease, and Mr. Chupp is acquiring the hangar, so hopefully that stays in place. So when we're looking at some terms to address the frequency change of these a little better, maybe down the road.
Are they moving out? Or are they just selling to their buddies, or what's the reasoning?
Well, they originally came in there and they had built a hangar, and they then the neighbor was building a larger one. They thought they needed more space, so they went, got that, and then funding got tight, and they moved back, and then they wanted it again, and now it's like, I think they're selling it, and Mr. Chubb's gonna purchase it and then maybe rent them some space in it. I don't know
Gotcha.
if they're downsizing their overall
It
operation.
just requires you guys a lot more paperwork, basically.
Yeah, we're looking at some things that would make it a little more, there's no penalties, I guess, for terminating the lease or the paperwork up front. So we're looking at some things that maybe improve minimize this in the future.
Sure, sure. Any questions for Tom? Okay, any objection to moving this one forward? Okay, we'll move this one forward to the next council meeting. Number 10, notice of public hearing for a zoning change application submitted by Davidson Real Estate LLC for the rezoning of property located at 301 North Buchanan and an adjacent parcel on Collins Avenue from Mobile Park District to R2, 1 and 2 family residential district.
So both of these items are these locations went to planning and zoning, and so they both are on the southern border of Don's Trailer Park, close to the rail yards. And our pieces that were zoned MP and were for future use for the Don's Trailer Court, but then he later sold them off, and this person has acquired them and wants to build duplexes. So on one of the parcels, they're proposing 4 duplexes, and the other one they're putting 2. But again, this is just a zoning change, so they would still have to come to us with a final lot split and all that. So this is just from the basis of, does it make sense to change it from MP to a R2? P&Z approved that, recommended moving forward.
Thank you. Any questions regarding number 10? Nope. Any objections to moving this one forward? Okay, we will move number 10 forward to the next council meeting. Number 11, a resolution authorizing the purchase of a great gear reducer and motor from Municipal Equipment Company, Inc. for the grit chamber repair at the wastewater treatment plant.
Evening, Council.
Hello, sir.
So part of the treatment process is grit removal at the wastewater plant. That's one of the first stages of treatment. The equipment package, I tried to figure out how to explain this well. It's just not easy, so bear with me. The equipment package to remove grit, it has parts and pieces. We had the gearbox that drives a paddle system that slows the water down so the grit can fall out, fail, which caused the motor to fail. So those are the 2 pieces we're asking for tonight, the motor and the gearbox that drives the paddle to, I think you get it. Does that make sense? This is a sole source vendor because of the package. It's a Smith & Loveless unit, and if you buy parts from anywhere else, they don't want to honor if anything else fails and so forth. So that's a territory thing with vendors.
So obviously you had one piece of equipment fail because another piece of equipment failed. Is there any way to remedy that in the future where you don't have kind of the catastrophic effect if one fails? I may be way overstepping my knowledge here, but just curious.
The answer is maybe. Let me look into that. I could certainly get back to you on that.
Certainly. Any questions regarding? Nope. Any objections to moving this one forward? No. Hey, while I have you here, I did have one question for you. I'm going to go off topic here for just a second, but on the, I noticed that the trailers at the water detention basin were gone. Regarding the microbes and removing the waste and whatnot. Was that a successful process, and would that something we would do again?
By the numbers, yes. I think time will tell because our goal was to reduce the solids, the biological solids, to reduce the odor, right, long term.
Right.
So I think by the numbers, it was reduced. They did what they said they would do contractually by reducing, I think it was 16 or 18 inches of solids down to less than 6. And so by the numbers, yes, but again, it is a wastewater basin. So
right.
I think time will tell overall, but I think the short answer is yes.
Okay.
That's about the best
I
I can
was
do.
curious if it was an effective process, and I know there were some safeguards in place if it wasn't, so very good. Thank you. Number 12, consideration of a purchase of a compact tractor for the distribution and collection division through a cooperative purchasing agreement with Sourcewell.
Yeah, so we would like to get a compact tractor for the distribution and collection department. Long-term goal is to clear remote water and sewer main easements that go across country. Over the years, they've been not maintained, and so you have trees and overgrowth, and if in the event we had an emergency or for some reason we would not be able to access those areas to make repairs. That's a big problem. That's largely why a lot of power companies, you'll see they're nicely mowed and they keep the branches trimmed back off the power lines. Same concept for us. That's what we want to do. Also, when we have large water main breaks that tears up a lot of ground and we need to resurface that after the repairs are done, there's tiller attachments in this quote as well so that we can tear up the ground, resurface it, and put it back to as good or better than what it was.
I noticed that there is 40,000 available on this account for this. And I'm having trouble locating the actual cost of all the equipment that you're discussing.
So I thought somebody might ask that question.
There's a lot of pages in that, yeah.
We are budgeted for 40,000. The total on the quote is 44,125, so we're a little over. But we talked a while back about the purchase of a valve exercise trailer. We have 130,000 budgeted there, and the quotes are looking like they're going to come in just over 120. So we're about 10,000 under budget on that. So my hope is that we're still ahead overall, but that's my hope.
Okay.
That's my goal.
Very good. Very good. I think that works. Any questions? Any objections to moving this one forward? Okay, we'll move that one forward to the next council meeting. Get back to my spot. Ready for 13, aren't we? A resolution authorizing the filing of an application with the Missouri Department of Natural Resources, Clean State Revolving Fund Program for an integrated management plan grant under the Missouri Clean Water Law for connection of Cairo, Missouri and Jacksonville, Missouri wastewater systems.
So this is the utilities part of the work session, I guess. So this is a regional incentive grant application, and what it is, it's just a feasibility study to see if it makes sense for Cairo and Jacksonville to pump their sewage to Moberly. That's all it is. That's what we're applying for here. Nothing that says we will do it or won't do it, but this is to see if it even makes sense.
Okay. Any questions on number 13? Any objection to moving it forward? Okay. Number 14, a resolution authorizing the filing of an application with the Missouri Department of Natural Resources, Clean State Revolving Fund Program for an integrated management plan grant under the Missouri Clean Water Law.
So this is an integrated management plan. It is exactly what it says it is. It's a study that pulls together information from the water treatment plant, wastewater plant, collection system, distribution system, pulls it all together and sort of studies what we're doing, and it plugs into an overarching program that's called a long-term control plan. So that's what this does, just pulls information plugged into a bigger, like an EPA back in the 90s developed policy for what are we going to do for the long term with our CSO basins, which, that's combined sewer overflow. So we have the rainwater that gets into the sanitary sewers, it all goes to these big basins, and then what are we going to do with that over the long haul? So that's how this integrated management plan plugs into the bigger picture.
Good. Has the city of Moberly had a study like this done in the past?
We've had lots of studies like this done.
Well,
As I was studying for this tonight, I learned a lot. I'll just say that. There's lots of data information out there. So, yes, multiple studies.
Okay. Any questions? Any objections to moving this one forward? Okay. Number 15, a resolution of the City of Moberly, Missouri, authorizing an application to the Missouri Department of Natural Resources for a drinking water state revolving fund loan application for replacement of 16-inch water mains on Morley Street South.
So this is, unlike the grant applications, this is an SRF applications, and these were done in the past. We had to re-up the applications because since the projects began and the bonding was approved in 2020, I believe, there's been some time in there. So we've had to re-up the SRF applications for DNR so that we can stay in their intended use plan that comes out every year. So that's what this is. And this project, just a little background, is to replace cast iron water mains in the system.
Okay. Any questions regarding number 15? Hearing none. Any objections to moving this one forward? Okay. Moving on to number 16, a resolution of the City of Moberly, Missouri, authorizing an application to the Missouri Department of Natural Resources for a drinking water state revolving fund loan application for replacement of 6 and 8-inch water mains on Logan Street.
So essentially, this is the same thing we just talked about. It's re-upping an application through the state for a state revolving fund loan. Began back in 2020 when it was applied for, when the bonding was passed by the voters, and we're re-upping the application. And same purpose is to replace a bunch of cast iron water mains.
Thank you. Any questions on that one? Any objections to moving it forward? Okay, last one, number 17. Resolution of the City of Moberly, Missouri, authorizing an application to the Missouri Department of Natural Resources for a drinking water state revolving fund loan application to construct a regional lift station.
This is essentially the same thing except on the wastewater side of the house. It's re-upping a state revolving fund loan application to the state for a project that, again, the bonding was done in 2020. There's been some time in between, but this is for what's called a regional lift station. And so, again, a little background. This station is supposed to take the place of 3 very aged, very small, outdated lift stations and really take on the flow from the northwest part of the town and just flow it through the system better than it does now.
Okay, very good. Any questions from anyone else on council? Any objections to moving that one forward? Okay, well, thank you for all those explanations. You do a good job of explaining that and making it where, in layman's terms, where we get it.
Glad I can help.
At least some of us do. Okay. I think that's all we've got. So we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned from work session. Thank you all for coming.